welcome to Three Count Commentaries, in which we must discuss the MLW lawsuit against WWE, alleging that WWE has engaged in antitrust and uncompetitive actions. This is going to be a bit of a doozy. All right, this is going to be a bit of a doozy. And I really hope Court Bauer has all of his ducks in a row. I'm talking he better have documents. He better have emails. He better have witnesses. He better have everything. Otherwise, this is a waste of money. And if WWE countersues, bye-bye MLW. It's literally that simple. But it's always worth. You never can tell. You never know. So let's get into this. What is this about? Well, it's ironic that in April of 2021 there was some discussions, and you can see it from various websites, that WWE and MLW were having conversations about partnership. This was in April, about maybe sending NXT talent to MLW in order to get some experience. That I made a video at the time saying it would have been a great thing for both MLW and WWE, as it would have been a great influx of cash for MLW to help train WWE superstars. And it would have been similar to the deal what Gabe Sapolsky's Evolve. It would have been pretty sweet. But apparently that fell apart, as MLW's other deals also fell apart. There was talks of them going to Tubi. That fell through. There was also talks of them going to Vice. Those two things fell through. And then MLW is blaming WWE for both of those things falling apart. So the actual lawsuit, this is the press release that we're going to discuss right now. So it says MLW files antitrust lawsuit against WWE. The federal court antitrust lawsuit is based on WWE's ongoing attempts to undermine competition and monopolize the professional wrestling market by interfering with MLW's contracts and business prospects. As described in the complaint, WWE pressured third parties to abandon contracts and prospective relationships with MLW. WWE's misconduct included disrupting every level of MLW's business, including a major streaming deal for MLW, which would have been transformative for the company. MLW also alleged in the complaint that in early 2021, after MLW announced that it was in talks with Vice TV to air MLW programs on Vice TV, a then WWE executive warned that Vice TV, WWE owner Vince McMahon, was going to be pissed that Vice was airing MLW programs and that Vice TV should stop working with MLW. The Vice TV executive responded that WWE's conduct was illegal and an antitrust violation, with the WWE executive responding that she could not control McMahon. Quote, WWE has been wrongfully depriving its competitors of critical opportunities for many years, but its latest conduct has been even more unconscionable, said MLW CEO Court Bauer. I think we speak for the rest of the professional wrestling world when we say that this anti-competitive behavior has to stop. WWE's ongoing misconduct, that's the end of the quote. WWE's ongoing misconduct has hurt fans of professional wrestling and competition in the professional wrestling industry. Through this lawsuit, MLW seeks to recover its losses due to WWE's interference and to enjoin WWE from future interference. The case is captioned MLW Media, LLC versus WWE World Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated. MLW is represented by Kasowitz, Benson, Torres, LLP. All right, so that's part one. That's the press release. Now, we have to go through and actually... this is a piece of the lawsuit that was tweeted out by a wrestling journalist. I think it was a guy from CBS. And this is a piece of the lawsuit. This is language directly from the lawsuit. It says, quote, prior to Tubi and MLW issuing the joint press release, WWE learned about the terms and existence of the license agreement. On or about August 9th, 2021, WWE executive Stephanie McMahon spoke with a Tubi executive located in California about the license agreement. Ms. McMahon initially pressured the Tubi executive to deny MLW a time slot that would compete head-to-head with WWE's NXT programs on Tuesday nights. But Ms. McMahon ultimately pressured the Tubi executive and other senior executives at Fox to terminate the agreement in its entirety. Tubi's affiliate, Fox, could lose WWE's business or preferred content if Tubi did not acquiesce to WWE's demand and terminate its agreement with MLW. on August 9th, 2021, the night before a planned press release about the Tubi MLW deal. As a result of WWE's pressure and interference, MLW received a letter purporting to terminate the license agreement. All right, so they're claiming that WWE's involvement in their business is what caused them to lose out on two very big deals, which is the Vice agreement and the Tubi agreement. This is going to be difficult for them to prove. All right, they're going to have to name names. In this piece here, of course, they use Stephanie McMahon exactly, so they must have emails or something like that, or it's going to be a lot of he said, she said, which is not probably going to get them much in the way of the lawsuit is concerned. This is going to get very expensive very fast for Court Bauer because they're going to really want all of his information. They're going to want everybody he's ever talked to. They're going to want to sit down and talk to everybody who claims Stephanie McMahon did something. All of this stuff is going to get very, very expensive very, very fast. I feel bad for Court. I really do. I know that, he's probably looking forward to these deals. And I was looking forward to them too because I like MLW. But let's be real here. WWE should not be concerned about either one of these deals. For starters, the Vice TV deal. I mean, just off the top of my head, I can say, brother, Court Bauer. For starters, Dark Side of the Ring is 99% anti-WWE. 99% of Dark Side of the Ring is anti-WWE stuff. It's actually been more anti-WWE than anything else. I don't think that Vince being pissed about MLW would have been the thing that, if it was all about Vince being mad and, Vice pulling things, why do they keep doing Dark Side of the Ring? That's a good question, right? Maybe we ought to ask ourselves a better question about why perhaps this deal did not go through. So in October of 2021, the Fightland, or maybe it was in September of 2021, but the ratings came out on October the 8th. This was the ratings for MLW's Fightland. So it says, according to Showbuzz Daily, Dark Side of the Ring scored 137,000 viewers with 63,000 viewers in the 18 to 49 demographic. But it says also that MLW's Fightland, which debuted on Vice following Dark Side of the Ring, scored 40,000 viewers with 16,000 in the 18 to 49 demographic. The demo was 0.01. I'm sorry. Do you think Vince McMahon really is going to tortious interfere in a contract where your show featuring the two biggest stars you have ever put together in a 2-year storyline that you took time to build? Slowly and surely, that anybody who loves MLW knows that you were building for almost 2 years. That show did 40,000 viewers. Court, 40,000 viewers. Maybe that's why you didn't get the Vice TV deal. I don't know for sure. I'm sitting here on my couch. I don't know for sure that this is the case. You got the opportunity to prove it. You're going to have to, drag WWE into court. You're going to try to depose the McMahons and all that kind of stuff. You're going to get that opportunity. But I'm sitting here looking at these numbers and saying, what money do you expect? Dark Side of the Ring pretty much crushes the internet pretty much every time it comes out. And it only gets 100 and some thousand viewers. That's it. It doesn't even get a 0.1 in the rating. It gets lower than a 0.1. These are impact numbers. And MLW did half of the lowest rating Impact has ever done. I don't know if this is smart for Court Bauer to do. I'm not sure. Now the Tubi deal, that's a little bit different. Tubi is owned by Fox. I just went and looked just to make sure. Tubi's website says Fox Entertainment free streaming service Tubi. All right, so Tubi is owned by Fox. So it makes sense for WWE to say if they have an exclusive contract that MLW cannot come in and do a deal with Fox. That wouldn't be tortious interference. That would be WWE enforcing their own contract, saying that other wrestling companies cannot compete with us. That's a different thing than whatever they will be doing with Vice. They have no business with Vice. Okay? WWE doesn't do business with Vice TV. So, yes, it would be a third party interfering in their business if a McMahon or a WWE executive were to interfere with the MLW Vice deal. It's a completely different deal if WWE already has dealing with Fox, and then Tubi owns Fox, and now Tubi is trying to have conversations with MLW. And then WWE says, no, our contract states that you cannot have other wrestling companies on your sites. You know, that includes all of Fox's, various streaming services or whatever. If they were enforcing their part of their contract and it just happened to affect you, that's too bad. That's not tortious interference. All right. So I don't know if Court Bauer is doing the right thing. I'm just not sure that this is smart. And pretty much the entire internet is looking at this as this is Court Bauer throwing money into the oven. And it just might be. I feel that, he's probably angling at a settlement here. He just kind of wants a settlement. He ain't going to get it. Yes, a lawsuit is expensive for WWE, but so is maintaining their reputation. And if they feel like you're trying to taint their reputation, especially since you mentioned Stephanie McMahon directly, they may fight this just based off of the reputation savaging and drag you into court. Because they can drag this thing on forever. MLW's pockets ain't nearly as deep as WWE's pockets. My whole problem is I just hope WWE doesn't decide to countersue. Claiming some illegal nonsense about, MLW, ruining the professional reputation of WWE or some shit like that. And him getting completely and totally crushed under the boot. And I don't want that. The weird thing about all of this is to blame WWE for this stuff. Now, the whole thing about the Tubi deal, I saw that in October when Fightful reported that WWE nixed the deal. It's like they don't have control over that stuff. The only thing they can say is Fox is in violation of their contract with us if they do that. Them reminding you that you have a contract with us, that's not nixing their deal. Fox can decide that they are willing to violate that contract. WWE's not going to walk away from $1 billion. I can guarantee you that. They may not re-sign, but they aren't going to, huff and walk away from that $1 billion that Fox Entertainment is paying them for SmackDown. They're not going to walk away from that. They might not, resign. But the idea that, Fox is going to put a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar deal at risk for MLW makes no sense. I'm sorry, Court. It makes no sense. If you are operating at that stratosphere, MLW and whatever you were going to pay them, it ain't worth jeopardizing your relationship that you have sat and said, we will give these people $1 billion. And then you're going to say, hey, whatever it is we were going to pay MLW, let's say it's $250,000. You're going to destroy a $1 billion relationship for a $250,000 relationship. Let's even say that Court Bauer was going to get $20 million for the streaming deal. Whatever. It wasn't going to be $1 billion. I can tell you that. All you got to do is look at the incentives. If WWE is worth $1 billion to Fox, MLW is worth unknown numbers of millions of dollars, because it wasn't going to be billions. It was going to be unknown number of millions of dollars. if that much. It could have been a couple 100,000, but I'm being generous. If WWE says, you do this, you're in violation of our contract, we can go and negotiate with your competitors to move SmackDown to a different station. Fox would be like, sure, let's do that. Let's WWE, who we've already agreed to give $1 billion to, let them sue us for being in violation of our contract and take their product and go somewhere else and make money. All to give money to MLW for the streaming service that we give away. I don't know. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. As I sit here and work through it, as most people sit and they listen to the incentive structure, I don't think people are going to buy it. All right. This is the kind of stuff that works in the wrestling media, where you can say WWE killed that deal. But then when you really go out into the real world and have to talk dollars and cents, all they have to do is say WWE is worth this. This is the deal that you said WWE is worth. You the one who signed the contract to give them $1 billion. It could have been $5 million if you whatever. If you think that it's not worth it, then you could back out of the contract easy peasy Japanesey. But you're going to violate that contract to do deals with MLW? Maybe Fox didn't know that it was going to be in violation of that contract. Maybe they thought, hey, you guys have a separate partnership with USA. Therefore, we can have a separate partnership with MLW. But WWE probably steps in and say, hey, look, our shit with NBC, you ain't got no problem. You ain't got nothing to do with that. We got an exclusive deal with you guys, as far as exclusive to all of your platforms, which includes Tubi. Now, if that's the case, then WWE is doing nothing but enforcing their own contract, not interfering with whatever contract MLW and Tubi are putting together. It sounds like it, but it's not, because WWE's contract with Fox predates the deal with Tubi. So they're just enforcing their own contract, which they have a right to do. I mean, are you saying they don't have a right to do that? Of course they do. If you signed an exclusive deal with them, they have a right to, and maybe that's why they was even told about the deal, because it was going to be in violation of their contract. Otherwise, Fox wouldn't need to talk to them about the deals that they're doing with other people. But if it could potentially violate the contract with WWE has to be told about it. And then they were told, and they said, well, that is a violation. WWE could have said, yeah, go ahead, do your thing or whatever. But then they also could have said, well, shit, if you're giving away Tubi contracts, we want one. Who knows? But ultimately, it seems to me like Court Bauer is just angling at a settlement. And the thing about this whole thing is it's filed in California. California judges, California law in general. And it's a federal court, but it's probably California judges. And those California judges, let's just say they have a very different view of the law than most judges, for the most part, rewrite law all the time. That's just what they do in the United States. They think they're legislators. They just rewrite the law as they see fit. So it's entirely possible that Court Bauer gets a friendly judge, an anti-corporate judge or something like that. And that judge is going to give Court Bauer all the leeway in the world and let him do all kinds of stuff in order to try to win this case. But I think in a fair court, he's going to get his day. But I don't see them making it too far. I think WWE looks at this, goes through it with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to make a counter claim, probably with an immediate dismissal attached to it. And if it's not immediately dismissed, they'll probably be tempted to countersue. And that's the real thing for me. It's the California judges, and if WWE decides to countersue. Because if they countersue, they come in heavy. And I don't want that to happen to Court Bauer, because I know he put a lot of effort into MLW. It's a fun show. Most of the people who watch it enjoy it. You would hate to see that Court Bauer decided to go to war with WWE, ended up nuking his own company. That would suck. That would really suck. But it would be what he gets if his ducks are not in a row. I don't see. I'm just very concerned. Like, how did we go from he was going to work with WWE to WWE killed my contracts and won't let me prosper and all this kind of stuff? It's like, wouldn't WWE want you to prosper if they was contacting you about a partnership? Hell, they should be trying to help you get on television and that kind of stuff. Especially on streaming services and stuff like that. When they had developmental contracts with various developmental deals like Ohio Valley, Deep South, or whatever, they wanted them to at least get on local television. Now, MLW did have that. They had local television. So that was a good start. But of course, they want to be national, so they want to, get in the streaming game, get on cable, stuff like that. My thing is, I don't see how WWE stopped Vice. Who cares if Vince McMahon is mad? You think Vince McMahon wasn't mad about the 4 hours of just Pillman and Benoit stuff that they put out there that made WWE look bad? You think Vince wasn't pissed about that stuff? You think Vince wasn't pissed about, all that stuff about the Ultimate Warrior? The stuff about, the plane ride from hell, which of course damaged the Ric Flair relationship. And now that's why they had to, do all this stuff to take Ric Flair out of the opening thing and, damage his brand. So now they can't sell Ric Flair merchandise. They had to take stuff off the network because Ric Flair's name had been drugged through the mud. John Cena too for the Canyon thing. You think WWE is happy about any of that stuff? No. So why the fuck would Vice all of a sudden care that McMahon would be pissed because they're going to air MLW programs? It's like, brother, we saw the ratings. We can see the ratings. You got 40,000 viewers. A 0.05 or 1 or whatever in the demos. Like, I don't know. Like, this thing was just a pilot, no doubt. Maybe there was, if this thing goes well, we'll see where it goes from there. But it didn't do well. They had a Dark Side of the Ring lead in, right? So Dark Side of the Ring had 137,000 viewers, right? That was, the show was on Johnny K9 of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. They lost 100,000 viewers. I'm just going to leave that pregnant pause right there. 137,000 viewers for the Johnny K9, a literal who. Most people didn't know who that guy was. A literal who on Dark Side of the Ring drew 137,000 views. The next show that aired after that was the Fightland, Fatu Hammerstone, 40,000 views. Where did the other 100,000 people go? They were watching Dark Side of the Ring. They probably saw the commercials for Fightland while they were watching Vice. And they said, pass, ain't watching it. Maybe that's why you didn't get the Vice TV deal. I don't know for sure. I'm not saying that I'm an expert. What I'm saying is, it ain't adding up. The numbers don't look right. If you'd have outdrew Dark Side of the Ring, you'd be on Vice. If you'd have got near Dark Side of the Ring, if they hadn't lost 100,000 fucking viewers, if you'd have lost 60, maybe you'd be on Vice. If you'd have lost 40, maybe you'd be on. If you lost 10,000, you'd definitely still be on Vice. You lost 100,000 viewers. Oh boy, this is sad, dog. This is sad, dog. And this is facts. This ain't WWE guy burying MLW. This is facts. I didn't even talk about this when it happened because I figured MLW was sort of It's sort of a burgeoning brand. Of course, not a lot of people know who these guys are. Nobody really knows who Hammerstone is, or nobody really knows who Fatu is. That's what the whole point of getting Vice deal was all about. It was about building these guys. It was about letting people finally see them. It was about, bringing in names, and, everybody should, help build these guys. These guys were YouTube famous in the wrestling space. The casual audience who wants to learn about the dirty underbelly of wrestling apparently were not interested in wrestling, or at least in those guys that you're trying to sell them, which sucks because Hammerstone and Fatu are very good, and they had a decent story that was put together over the course of 2 years. It was all very well done, but you fell short. All WWE has to do is go into the court and say that. Like, why would we be concerned about a show that aired, I believe, at 11 o'clock or something like that? Because Dark Side of the Ring, I think Dark Side of the Ring airs at 9. So I think it came on at 10. All right. So why would they worry about an MLW show that doesn't come on any day WWE airs? It came on a Thursday. WWE doesn't have a show on a Thursday. So why would they care? It's a good question. A Thursday at 10 o'clock, why would they care? Even if during Dark Side of the Ring, if that's not on, let's say they moved it to 8 or 9 or something, they wouldn't have done that much better. Even if you said, well, they probably could have got 100,000, maybe. It's like, yeah, maybe. Even you might have been able to double it if it came on at 9, maybe. But it's not airing on any night where WWE is going to be on. They have no conflict. There is no problem here. Just makes no sense. And I'm having a hard time feeling sympathy for Court Bauer when I'm looking at these numbers and saying to myself, brother, why would they need to? Why would they even need to turn over in the middle of the night about 40,000 viewers for the biggest show you've ever done? And this is by far and away the biggest show MLW has ever done. And it was spoiled almost 2 months in advance, by the way, because it was taped. So all of this stuff makes no sense. And as a person sitting here looking at all this stuff, I feel bad for them, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think, man. What do you guys think about this MLW, WWE stuff? I just hope his ducks are in a row. I hope he doesn't get some shiesty lawyer who's just trying to take money out of him and is going to wilt as soon as McDevitt starts throwing them hammer blows. Because that seems to happen a lot, man. A lot of those lawyers can't take what McDevitt's going to do to him. I hope this guy got a spine. I hope they got the ducks in a row. I hope they got some evidence and that they can really prove WWE did some foul shit to them. If so, I'll stand behind MLW. But I'm looking at MLW right now like, bruh, this is like, I'm not going to say what it's like because it's insensitive. But it's not, this is you're poking the bear. Let's put it like that. I think that's a better phrase. I was going to be a little bit more colorful. But let's just say you're poking the bear, And bears can be pretty mean. They look cuddly, but they can be pretty mean creatures. This will definitely not end well. If his shit is not completely together, it ain't going to end well at all. Remember, WWE ended up buying WCW because they sued him and beat him in a lawsuit. And in the lawsuit language, it says that if WCW was going to go out of business, WWE would get first chance to buy them. I can see that language being put in the settlement right now for MLW. That, oh yeah, you guys, sure, we'll let you off the hook, but you got to sign over your company if you'd ever lose any money. Sign over the tape library and everything else. The rings, everything. They may not even use it. Just want it. And that's not what you want, dog. Hopefully Court Bauer got somebody behind him with some money. Maybe Tony Khan will float him a loan or something. Otherwise, but then again, I don't think Court Bauer's on the best of terms with Tony Khan because Tony Khan swiped a couple of his wrestlers. So, it's tough out here, man. It's tough. And I wanted MLW to grow, but, if Vice didn't want you, what more can you do? You should have, I don't know. Because I don't know what you could have done better than what they tried to do. Maybe the show should have been live. There could have been any number of other things. I kick all this stuff over to you guys. Like this video. Please hit the like button. If you got this far, hit the like button. Share this video. Tell people that what we're talking about over here, what we're doing. Spread the good word of 3 Count Commentaries. I'll talk to you guys later in the comment section. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.
Old non-aggression. Once that lesson sets in, you'll see a session. But you got an affection for no progression, regression.